Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is Really Fake, chapter 37, and this one is titled Relief. You put your hand square up in his face and pushed him away with a smirk. Get off me, you beanpole hyena, you said, poking your tongue out at him once you had successfully pushed him far enough away from you. If your pa had a sense of humour, I'm sure he would be enjoying the entertainment, Nurse Patient said as she strolled back into the room and popped one hand on her hip. But right now, I need to give this man his medication, so if you wouldn't mind leaving. She looked from you to Kuroo and then back to you, silently and authoritatively asking you to vacate the room. Oh, you said softly as you stood up. Sorry, it was nice to see that he's, okay. Honey, he will be fine, she said. I haven't put all my other work on hold just to look after a man that's going to pass away on me. Oh, I wanted to thank you for taking him on, you said quickly, remembering that she had gone out of her way to look after him. I believe you run the team on this level, you said with a timid smile. Yes, ma'am, I am the Nurse Unit Manager, she replied, returning your smile with a gentle smile. Can I ask what made you want to oversee my pa's care? You asked curiously. Where I am from, she said, we have people who can see if someone is a good person or not. They emit a light that is only visible to those who have the power to see. You tilted your head curiously. Your pa has the brightest light I've ever seen, she said with a soft smile. This world is full of dark people, so when I see someone with a bright light, I take it upon myself to save them. We need more bright lights in this world. You touched your hand to your heart, and your bottom lip popped out slightly as your eyes welled with tears. I know he will survive, the nurse continued. Someone with this much light cannot enter into the afterlife yet. That's the loveliest thing I've ever heard, you said in a wobbly voice, quickly wiping your eyes so the tears would dissipate faster. I'll see to it that he is back soon. Such a man needs to rest for now, she added. You nodded and looked back at Kuroo, who reached for your hand and took it. Let's go and leave Nurse Patience to it, Kuroo said as he gave her a polite nod. See you soon, Pa, he said back to your grandfather, who was still lying motionless in the hospital bed. Bye, Pa, you whispered hoarsely. I'll be back tomorrow. You then turned to the nurse. And thank you so much for your kind words. You've put my heart and mind at ease, he said to her. Don't you stress, honey, she said as she reached out and patted your shoulder, a calm washing over you immediately. You gave her a relieved smile and left, with Kuroo stepping up beside you and falling in stride with yours as you walked back down the hall. I like this hospital, he commented as he continued to look straight ahead. Me too. I feel so much better. Thank you for coming with me. That's what boyfriends do, he replied with a coy smile down at you. You nudged him with your shoulder and smirked as he headed for the elevator. Kuroo had insisted on staying with you for the rest of the day and had walked you home as well. You seemed to be dealing okay with everything, but the minute you stepped into the empty house, you didn't want to be there anymore. Hey, you said quickly as you turned to face him and took his shirt between your thumb and index finger. Would you stay for a bit? I mean, can you stay for a bit? It's, lonely, he offered gently. Yeah, I'll stay. I didn't want to go just yet anyway. You don't have to stay long, I guess, you said, averting your eyes, but still keeping a pinch hold of his shirt. I'll stay as long as you need me, he said with a sexy smile, making your heart skip a beat as you looked up into his face. Okay. Do you want to watch a movie then? You asked, trying to find something to do to keep the two of you occupied. Netflix and chill, he asked with a devious smirk. No, you ass, you grumbled in a flustered voice. Just come in and sit down and behave. Behaving so boring, he teased, shoving his hands into his pockets and walking to the lounge. I'll get us drinks, you chill, you called, as you headed for the kitchen to get some drinks and maybe a snack. Kuroo walked into the lounge room and plopped himself down on the couch in front of the TV, spreading out so that you'd have no option but to sit between his legs. Meanwhile, you were rummaging through the cupboards looking for something to eat, yet all you could find were pretzel chips and chocolate-coated almonds. You shrugged and pulled them out and then grabbed 2 glasses and some soft drink from the fridge. You ready to dine like a grandma and a grandpa? You asked cheekily as you entered the room. You ready to snuggle up with your man? Kuroo quipped in return, slinging his arm across the backrest and pointing to his lap. I'll feed you pretzels, you replied as you walked over to the coffee table in the middle of the room and then started laying things out as you bent over slightly in front of Kuroo. You're doing that on purpose, he growled as he reached out and tapped your ass lightly. You squeaked with surprise and spun around to take a swing at him, but he grabbed your arm and yanked you down to his lap. You can't just hold that cake in my face and not expect me to want to grab it, he said with a devious chuckle. That's my cake, and I'll put it wherever I want, thank you very much, he replied in a teasing tone. Well, you know what? My mouth wants to taste yours, so going by your reasoning, it's my mouth, and it can land wherever it wants, he said as he bent his head down and parted his lips to lock with yours. You gave in immediately and let his tongue slide between your lips and intertwine with your tongue, your lips making a seal as you tilted your head to his and kissed back, while his hand slid from your knee up your thigh and squeezed gently. Ooh, I think this next chapter is going to be a bit steamy. Might need to cut it short, but you know where to go to find the completed chapter. Quirky Fanfics can be found just by typing into Google Quirky Fanfics, all one word. Might need to not put safe search on because it probably won't come up. Or you can go to my Patreon and scroll down to the very first post that I ever put on Patreon, and you'll find it there, Quirky Fanfics. The link, click it, and you get in. You don't need to pay, it's free, and you'll find all of my written work there. So without further ado, I will leave you to it, and I'll see you next week for chapter 38.